Hey, what's up, Coach? Good to see you. I don't know if you have been thinking this same thing like I have, but as I've been scrolling through my Facebook feed, it seems like half of the posts that I'm seeing are AI generated images or videos or the text that I'm reading, the stuff that people are writing. It all kind of sounds the same. Like I'm a big fan of vanilla ice cream, but I'm not a big fan of vanilla content. And so I want to just share with you because this has been really, really helpful for me in creating content. I want to share my golden rule for content creation that is specifically for Christian coaches. And so if you've been feeling that same way like I have, where you don't want to sound like everybody else, even if you're using AI to be able to help with some of your content in some way, you don't want it to sound and look like somebody else because you're you, right? Like we don't we're not out here trying to make clones of everybody who all sound the same. There's no way that we're going to reach the people that God created us to reach with the message that he's given us to reach them with if we just sound like everybody else, right? Eventually people are going to start to tune out. And so I want to share with you my golden rule for content creation for Christian coaches. Now, I tried making content in the past in a very different way than I do now. Like I used to think it was all about creating short form content, right? Like you're trying to get people's attention. And so I would shoot these little snippet videos and there's all the fancy editing and cropping and zooming and stuff like that. You could still see some of those if you look back on my YouTube channel. But as I got thinking about it, I'm like, one, this is taking a lot of my time, right? And it's also taking a lot of my energy as somebody who's a former perfectionist. Sometimes I would feel like I have to do the take until I got it right and said the right thing in the right way at the right time. And I was not having fun with it. And so I started kind of trying to look at things a little bit of a different way. And I asked this question, like, what kind of content do I like? Like when I'm scrolling through Facebook or I'm looking at YouTube or maybe I'm reading somebody's email or something like that, what kind of content do I like to read or to listen to or to watch? And once I really figured out what works for me, what I like to consume, I just started making more of that kind of content, right? And here's why. You may spend a lot of time creating content. It does take time. It takes a lot of energy. It takes some focus. And if you're anything like me, you want to really leverage the time that you use. You don't want to necessarily make a post that's just going to be gone tomorrow and it's going to have no impact, right? Like almost like you're trying to appease the algorithm or something and just make a post for the sake of making a post, right? Because you want to stay top of mind. I don't personally want to create content that's just going to poof, disappear and not be of true value to somebody because that's the kind of content that I would want to consume myself, right? I want something that provides a lot of value. And so when I'm creating my own content, I want to make sure that the effort that I'm putting into it is worthwhile, right? Like it actually helps somebody and I enjoy doing it at the same time, right? It's got to do both things. And so there's this idea that I talk about a lot called the contrarian way. It's basically this framework that I saw through the Gospels of how Jesus communicated with people and facilitated transformation. It's almost like a pattern. And the first two pieces to that pattern are belong and believe. And so when you think about the content that you're creating, really those are the two things that your content needs to do on the front end, right? Like it needs to create belonging, right? We want to connect with the person that we're creating the content for. We want them to be able to resonate and feel like maybe they're known, valued, understood, loved, like somebody actually gets them. That's kind of the core of it. And then the belief part, when we're creating content, we want to be able to give people a new perspective, right? We want to shift them from maybe a way of thinking that was false to a different way of thinking that is true, and it's aligned with the Bible, and it's also aligned with them and how they want to think. And so those are really the first two pieces of the contrarian way, is belong and believe. And that's what we should be aiming to do with our content, is create belonging with people and then help to shift a belief, really create conviction in an idea that's going to serve them well, right? And that's founded in truth. And so my golden rule for how I create content that does that is it's based on Matthew chapter 7 verse 12, where Jesus says, so in everything do to others as you would have them do to you. And practically speaking, when it comes to content, this is where that question came from that I started asking myself is, what type of content do I like to read or watch, right? And personally, I like content that's valuable. It's not super highly edited. It's not professional in a way that like it looks corporate feeling. Like if I'm looking at a coach or a mentor or something like that, I'm trying to get to know them and their ideas and stuff like that. I don't want it to be this thing that seems really highly produced. I want to feel like I'm actually getting to experience them and who they are as a person. And I feel like not always, but sometimes I feel like when you do a whole bunch of editing, you don't really get to know the real person. Like what was chopped out there, right? Or what was added in, or why, it's almost distracting in a way. And I realized I didn't like short form content because I felt like it was always trying to hijack my attention, right? That's what people are doing. They're trying to keep your attention for longer and longer and longer, because the longer that you stay on these social platforms, the better, right? But I didn't feel like I was getting value. I just thought like people are trying to play with my mind and the way that my brain works and the way that God created it to work and what to focus on and stuff. And there was so many times I would get done reading something or I'd get done watching something and I'm like, man, that was a waste of time. Like I wish I would have never hit play or I would have never started reading, right? And I didn't want the content that I created to be like that. I wanted to consume content that was really valuable. Like it would actually help me. It would be something that's practical. Like it was made for me. Like they were almost speaking to me, not something that could necessarily be applied to everybody, but something that met me where I'm at, right? And something that actually helped me think about things in a new way. We want to be able to have those like refining moments almost, that like when you're reading your Bible. I got my Bible right here. You go through that and there are like aha moments all the time, right? You're seeing things that you can practically apply to your life. As you read through it multiple times, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that was in there the first time. I didn't notice that was there in the first time. And even the second time that I read it, like I missed that. But now that I'm going through it another time, I'm at a different phase of life and you start taking different things out. You know what I mean? So I wanted to create content that was kind of like that. If somebody watched it, it's going to give them an aha moment. And maybe they even come back to it and they watch it again when they're at a different stage or a different time. And they're like, wow, I didn't even catch that the first time. Like that was amazing. This is so valuable. I want them to come away from it saying, like, Kevin's awesome. If this were me consuming my own content, I would want to be able to say, Kevin's awesome. Like I like that guy. I really connect with him and the way that he communicates, the way he delivers a message, that kind of thing. I feel respected. Like my time was respected. Like he was really trying to deliver something valuable and actually help me with his content. Those are kind of the two big things that I would want to experience if someone were watching my content or reading my content. And so that's what I started doing. I took this idea of Matthew 7:12, do unto others as you would have them do to you. And I just swapped out the word do for create content, right? So like create content for others in the way that you would want content created for you, right? Like it's like when I say it out loud, I'm like, that Bible verse is amazing, but how do you actually apply it? And that's for me one of the easiest ways to apply it is just replace the word do for whatever the thing is that you're looking at right now, right? Because the start of that verse says, so in everything do unto others. Well, whatever we're doing, maybe we're creating content, maybe we're creating a product, right? Maybe we're doing something, whatever it is that we're doing. We can kind of insert that and say, this thing, do this thing in a way that you would want somebody else to do this thing for you. And so that's my golden rule for creating content, is to create content that I would want somebody to create for me. Now, there's some really cool benefits to that. And one of them is that it makes content way more enjoyable. Like if you're one of those people like I was, where I was always trying to come up with ideas that I thought other people would think were amazing, um, and try and like edit things and do all this fancy stuff to make it seem really cool and try and get people's attention. Um, this completely flipped it on its head. It has made content creation much more enjoyable for me because it's almost like I'm creating the content for myself, right? Like I'm making a note to myself. I'm recording this video right now for myself to like remind myself to continue doing this. Like it's way more simple than most people make it, right? So it's a lot more fun for me. I do like one take for my video and boom, post it, right? Same thing with the content that I'm writing, the posts that I'm writing, the emails that I'm writing. I do it and I put it out there, and it's so much more enjoyable. I don't get stuck in this loop of feeling like I have to perform or be perfect, or like I said before, say the right thing in the right way at the right time to try and get somebody to, do whatever it is that I'm hoping that they're going to do, right? I don't feel that anymore. That's kind of the first benefit, is I enjoy it a lot more. The second big benefit is I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people on the content that I've been creating since applying this golden rule to content creation, in that they're like, you speak what I've been feeling, right? Like it's almost like you read my mind, or you said something and you said exactly what I'm experiencing in a way that I just haven't been able to put words to before, right? Like that type of feedback for me, it says that the people who are consuming the content that I'm creating in the way that I would want it created for myself, they're just like me, right? If I'm creating a YouTube video just like this one because I enjoy it, right? I enjoy like one take, not a bunch of fancy editing, just, being real, almost like you're having a conversation with somebody, like I'm talking to myself, um, people who like that they're like-minded, right? They're very much like me. If they're attracted to that content and they see value in it and they respond well and they're like, this was a great use of time and I really like you. If they're saying that to me, I'm like, awesome, you're my person, right? Like you belong here. We belong together, right? And at the same time, if it was very helpful and they're like, wow, I never thought about it that way, it's serving them and it's serving me at the same time. And so those are the two biggest benefits for this golden rule of creating content for Christian coaches, is when you do to others, when you create content for others in a way that you would want content created for you, not only does creating content become way more fun, way easier, feels like less work, you're helping yourself in the process, but also you're attracting the people who are just like you, who love that same type of content. So that's how I approach content now, and it has never felt better for me. And I have had way more people connect with me on a deeper level when I'm just being myself, sharing my message in a way that I would want it shared with me. So I hope this has been helpful for you, like it has for me. And if it has, try it out, right? Go create some content, write something, shoot a video, make an audio thing, whatever it is that you want to do. Create some content in a way that you would enjoy and that you would want somebody to create it for you, and then hit post. This is the way.